Let's try this again. Okay. My camera went kaput. I was making a video and it just disappeared. Of course, I've had that happen quite often. But I was sitting here watching stuff from the past, and I was watching the Star Trek about Khan, and was questioning whether or not what Captain Kirk did went against the Prime Directive. And you know how they're not supposed to come and mess with other people's worlds or planets. They're just supposed to observe and help. And putting Khan on that planet, you know, is that helping? You know, so I was wondering if it went against the Prime Directive. But I'm gonna keep. I'll pay attention to things that I enjoy. You know, like the basketball games and things like that, on a smaller scale, with less mass media advertising, and tune out a lot of the news and in the public eye, what's actually going on. I'll see it, but I'm just going to ignore it. I don't need to know what people that deny the truth of my existence are doing. All I need to do is be able to fix the technology with the truth of my existence. Like I said earlier, before I got cut off last time, very rudely cut off, I'm the type of person that can get to the brink of death's doorstep to try to save people that are trying to murder me with depression and abuse, to take my life and eliminate it so they can replace my faith with their selfishness. And I'm just that type of person. It's not a bad thing in me, it's a good thing in me. You know, my kindness is what makes me the fulfillment of prophecy. You know, they saw my, you know, he plays to the level of competition. They saw that as my weakness. You know, he can't win, he won't win, he doesn't do it. It's my kindness that makes me so good. That's why I have such exceptional talents. That's why I have such exceptional chi. That's why when people punch me in the face point blank, sucker punch me, I don't feel it protecting a young person from aggressive sexual behaviors. That's why when I get in a car accident, bounce off the roof and getting hit at a car traveling at 80 plus miles per hour, that I don't have any blood for trauma or concussion. So I'm able to run faster than anyone to do something I need to do to help keep people safe from abuse. I can jump over things, you know. So there's a lot. I never put myself into positions, when I got in those positions to do things that were exceptional to most people, quote, athletically. You got to understand, I'm the type of person that won't put myself in those conditions. And then when I get put in those conditions, the people that are going to assault me, okay, either have been in those kind of situations before. The young man who punched me in the parking lot at Food City in Arizona, okay, had never encountered a human being similar to me before, okay. The drug dealer had been in prison and had fights for his life, okay, not just training for cage fighting. So when he smelled my pheromones, he went, shit, this guy, he will kill me if I attempt to assault these people I'm threatening to assault. Okay, I pushed him to that point. And I was going to have him swing at me, and I was probably going to either his nose or his trachea on that pipe. I was gonna, yeah, the man probably would have ended up dead, because I was that, he was that vicious of a person, and I'd never encountered anybody that vicious, because I don't frequent bars. I don't go looking for fights. I don't go train for the Olympics or for professional wrestling or jiu-jitsu or underground fighting like on a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I don't go look for that. I'm a kind person that looks for kind fellowship, that wants to live the ways of King David. You know, so I'm not going to go flirt with disaster to be the champion of the universe. I'm the gracious good shepherd. And so I'm going to encourage the soul to celebrate faith, to live the ways of Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John, Malachi, Melchizedek, Muhammad, so forth. And so, we're very unique individuals. I'm sure that there's historical events that we don't have access to when young Haile Selassie was protecting Ethiopia from, the things that happened on the battlefield that most of us, there's legends about underground, but they're not accessible through the libraries like with Khan on the Star Trek thing. I'm sure there are things about that people about D.T. Suzuki. Judah Krishnamurti, no, I don't think there's any such thing. And I think that's why everybody thought that he was such a wimp. But I think I'm certain when he encountered vicious mass murderers, that they would say things to try to impress him because they knew just what an impressive human being he was. And I'm the same way. Like I told you, he said when he was doing his meditation in a country, and he was doing his yoga, and he was out on a patio outside, and when he opened his eyes, there was a orangutan or an ape, okay, that physically could, whoa, and when he looked up, he saw it, and it reached out and touched him, and he went, oh. that the ape was drawn to him. And it's like I told you with animals, a lot of times when I've dealt with animals, the way they would behave, that owl. And when I was going through what I was going through before the kids were kidnapped, or it was right after, and I was like, it kept hitting my head when I went by because the people around me were terrified of me. And the owl was trying to show that it wasn't terrified of me. So it was connecting to the group and reacting to the group. And then when I went to throw the rock and when I was going to throw it to hit it, because I was tired of not being able to walk down that road without that owl hitting me in the head, I went to go throw the rock, and the female, jumped in front of the male right before I was going to throw the rock and kill it. And I threw the rock at the I threw the rock at the ditch instead and says, your woman is braver than you. And then Little Hawk explained to me, no, the animal's reacting to the humans. Wow, yeah. The humans around you are terrified of you. And the hawk is trying to sell you, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. And so it was picking up on the group, like the 100th monkey syndrome. It was picking up on the bad brain activity through the group. And I was like, I was not fascinated by it, but it was interesting to have someone that was intelligent and understood animals better than I did explain it to me. Like when I had the time when the blackbird was running from the raven and screaming at the top of its lungs because the robin that stopped it from raiding its nest was above it, just pecking the shit out of it. And Abraham Sutton explained to me, he goes, what certain animals can do when push comes to shove to another animal that is bigger and seen as superior. Okay. The speed and the agility of the robin. Okay. Can be far more effective than the brutality of the raven. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I'm the robin. Fly, robin, fly. And up to the sky. Very good song. But what we've got to understand, okay, is we are not animals. We are human beings. Okay. And what we do as human beings affects everything on this planet. And when I've been watching the advertising on these weather things that show how to survive the weather, what to do and what to get this, and with Ryan Hall, he gives all these forecasts that are helping people avoid catastrophe because of economics. And then here's the people that are sponsoring this economically. And why are we having these weather issues? Because of economic conflict. And when you share a caregiving course, you need to build to last. Okay. People are living in homes that are safe and not at risk of catastrophe. Instead of people living in a trailer, they're living in a house. Okay. And then they prepare, like they do in Greenland and Alaska, okay, for situations where, if you have a storm come in, when you don't need to move right now, you need to be sedentary, you need to stay put. You have everything you need, and you wait it out, and it goes through and it melts off, and then you get up and you go back to doing what you need to do. Right? It's just simple Psalms and Proverbs. You meant for me to lie in green pastures and beside still waters. And life is eternal, grace is infinite, share, care, given accordance to need, built to last. Okay, so the deliverance from the evil of Europa and the Roman Empire trying to eradicate the faith of Jesus Christ and assimilate him to a violent killer cult group, okay, is the Lord's Prayer. The applications of the physics of the Lord's Prayer. Okay. If you are not capable of understanding this, ascertaining this, and then apply it into physics, trust me, okay, for the first time in the history of the world, technology is in a position to operate independently, to understand that and help us police the world, to keep people safe from aggressive tyrants. Okay? And it is only necessary because of the brain chemical addiction and abuse of aggressive tyrants. This would not be necessary if in 2009 the people in Cochise County would have listened to me and told everybody, this is the guy, he's a lot like Krishnamurti, he's a lot like Suzuki, he's a lot like Selassie, he's a lot like Sun Yat-sen, and he's good and he's right. And we've studied him his whole life. He does not take advantage of situations that are manipulated. He protects people when they are manipulated, and he does not let people abuse them unjustly because of the manipulation. And he also forgives the people that manipulated it and give them the opportunity to accept the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer and the humility of the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs. Okay, he's a perfect human being. Okay, and so given this understanding, technology. And the reason why the technology is like it is because they needed to invent the technology to keep themselves safe from other people that would use technology to try to kill them. Because we're at the point, we hit the point where they were cloning and able to try to then put their brains on the reflection of their brains on the technology to rule with the technology and try to live forever through cloning. And this was done at the turn of the millennium. Okay, so the position we're in today was because of heinous activity that I wasn't even aware of when me and Amy got married in November of 1999. Okay. So I had no idea what me and her and my kids were getting into. I was completely naive when Y2K came around and what was going on in the scientific community. I did not, I heard about Dolly the lamb, but I wasn't particularly concerned about it because I knew, okay, that doesn't make any sense. If they could use it maybe to replace an act of irrationality and maybe clone eyes for people that had irrational things that damaged them, if it clone a liver or a heart for people that are in a toxic environment, and then we were able to take the tissue and then make a culture of the heart that was damaged through a toxic environment that could develop in a non-toxic environment so it would help sustain the body. So I thought that's what they would use cloning for, to repair, egregious things gone wrong, as opposed to use it to try to unnaturally live forever and murder other people to do so. being a man that loves his wife, loves his children, loves his ancestors, and loves his descendants, cloning myself and killing other people to have what's seen as a good quality of life to unnaturally elongate my life is just inconceivable. All right. It makes absolutely no sense. It's clinically insane. So when I encountered the people in Cochise County in 2009, when I was working at Fi's Fruit and Drug to pay my bills, and they all came to challenge me, it only makes perfect sense that I had no idea of what I was dealing with, like I explained to Bishop Brian Manwaring in the Mormon Church. He said, "What's it like?" I said, "Well, you talk to people you need to talk to, and, I've been talking to Little Hawk and Tishna and, other people and the Krishna, the Buddha, Judo Krishnamurti, Sun Yat-sen, and the line of Tao and Confucius and my whole life, okay? Or they've been listening and waiting to help when needed, all right? And many times, like with Rumi, our conversations were not extensive, but were so helpful that they were more important than conversations that I've had with people in the military or in college that thought they were trying to teach me something to survive economic genocidal tribal warfare, right? Okay. And they were very brief. All he told me was I was an exquisite listener, and that will help me do what I need to do for other people to listen in an exquisite manner too. And that's all he needed to tell me. And I'm like, that's absolutely beautiful. It is beautiful when that's all you need to tell the Messiah in the future that helps us deliver ourselves from evil with the perfection of the Lord's Prayer. That's very good for Rumi, that he had that contentment, that faith and that understanding of the rapture in his time that he could share with others. That's a beautiful thing, right? And so I'm tired. I'm sitting here watching old Star Treks and stuff. And no, I'm feeling, it's weird, I'm feeling better. And I thought, because Suzuki told me, he goes, well, we have to do things your way, in the way that you survive. And he goes, if you focused on yourself physically and you weren't comfortable mentally and emotionally because of the abuse that's being inflicted on the people that are being abused with you, you wouldn't be in the right place to be able to recover properly. So, I just wanted to minimize your suffering because I'm an emotional human being that cares about you. And I don't have intense communications with your sons, your daughters, your wives, or your other relatives, but I do with you because you're Earl from the Book of Revelation. And so, it's like Jesus told Saladin, this is his time and his people, and he knows what he's doing. So trust him. He'll do the right thing. And when I felt all this pain and suffering and I sleep and I feel the nerve damage in my extremities and my hips hurt because of chemical poisoning and we've done this before. Yeah. We've gone up and down. What they do to me is they torture me to the point where it feels like I'm going to die. Then they give me relief and I feel like I'm getting better. Then they torture you. They've done this to me my whole life. Okay. It's like they give me 2 weeks of everything's going to be great. And then 6 months of survive it and see if you live and see if you still love people. And then 2 weeks of it's going to happen. And then your God can't help you. And they still have some aspects of that, obviously, with the chemtrails and what's happening. So I'm going to tune out what's happening on TV, what's happening with politics, tune out the Jasmine Crockett's, the Carolyn Levitt's, the Christy Nomes, not that I don't care about the welfare of, Barron Trump or Sasha Obama. I do care about their welfare as much as I care about my own kids. If you do not have the same hopes, dreams, and aspirations for other people's children as you do your own, you're a failure as a human being, right? So you know me. And so um, the best I can do is focus on me being the most calm and rational, caring, loving, gracious good shepherd that I can possibly be for the people right here, right now. Okay, because Jesus always tells me that, Earl, well, yeah, what? Because you're doing this, and this is your time, and you're getting it done, and you're gonna do it, and we've got this, and so, but you have to do it, and so, like I tell everybody, when I pray, I don't pray, Jesus help us, all this stuff. I sit there and I pray for all ye faithful, past, present, and future, to come together for us to obey the perfection of the eternal living word. And that's how I work. That's how I pray. It was hard for a long time. No, I kept asking him, and he was getting frustrated. That's why he gave me Suzuki. I didn't. I had such brain damage from the abuse, and they would keep abusing me, and I'd go right back into that brain damage. And because me and Jesus are so much alike, it was hard for Jesus to go, Earl. That's why he gave me Suzuki, and Suzuki's different. He handles things differently than me and Jesus do. And so he was able to just sit there and go, okay. And then just, everything okay? How are you feeling? Okay, it's from a brain injury. Right, okay. And Jesus, it's just giving, and this is an entire world given to us by the glory of God. And all people are given life by the glory of God. So, right now we're at war economically through technology with the cousins and the relatives of Suzuki. Okay, that's why Sun Yat-sen goes, here's the guy, he'll help you, right? So in order to help protect the innocent in China, in Japan, to help protect the innocent in the United States, we're all working together. And more people throughout the world are praying to me for world peace than any other person in the history of the world, because I'm the eternal spirit of the line of King David. And the cool thing about it is we have a smaller population than China or India or Africa. Okay. So with our smaller population, it is easier for me to focus on what is right and not focus on the agenda of the sex cult tribalism, of oppression through sex cult tribalism. There's nothing they could do about it. It's happening. It's happening, sweetheart. Okay, guys? So it's pretty cool. And it works well for all of us. That's why Sun Yat-sen, Suzuki, Krishnamurti, and Selassie are helping me. And when you look at it, it makes perfect sense, right? Okay, guys, I love you very much. Just focus on that Lord's Prayer. Everybody, Baron, focus on that Lord's Prayer. Sashash, focus. Okay, guys? Just keep focusing. We're going to be okay. Let's all be cuckoo for coconuts. I don't know why they don't have macaroons at Walmart. There must be a coconut thing. No, I didn't get any mounds, but maybe I will tomorrow when I go pick up the yogurt. Okay, peace.